Welcome to Build Wealth Logically. Your path to financial growth starts here. Calculate, invest, and grow.
You ever have that feeling, where you're working like crazy, putting in 60, 70-hour weeks, but when you look at your bank account, the progress just doesn't match the effort? Well, today we're going to dig into a really cool concept from electrical engineering that, believe it or not, perfectly explains this hidden waste in our financial lives. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to fix it. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to uncover this hidden financial drain. Then, we'll dive into the whole busy versus productive trap that causes it. After that, it's all about solutions. We'll talk about how you can build your own financial capacitor, how to shield it from all the noise out there, and finally, how to get your entire system phase locked so you're running at peak efficiency.
And this right here is the key to everything. Just think about that for a second. It's describing a system where all your hard work, all that energy, isn't actually translating into results. You're paying the full price, but you're only getting a fraction of the return. That gap, that's what we're here to fix.
Okay, so what is this silent killer of our efficiency? Well, engineers have a term for it, a low power factor. And really getting what this means is the first step to correcting the entire system.
So imagine a giant industrial motor. In a system with a low power factor, the electricity you're paying for isn't all going to turning the motor. A chunk of it is literally just being lost as heat. The energy is there, it's flowing, but it's not aligned right to do its job. It is, quite simply, pure waste.
And here's where it clicks for us financially. This is the exact same thing that happens when you're grinding away, feeling totally exhausted, but your net worth is basically flatlining. Your effort and your results are out of sync. All that hard work is just dissipating as heat, as burnout, instead of actually building your assets.
So why does this happen? What's causing this massive inefficiency? To get to the bottom of it, we have to look at something called reactive power.
The best way to think about this is energy that's just sloshing around in the wires. It's there, you can measure it, and it's taking up capacity, but it's not actually powering anything. It's the illusion of power without any of the productive results. And this maps perfectly onto our work lives, doesn't it? Reactive power is basically performative busyness. It's all the stuff that feels like work but doesn't build any actual equity. It's the manual tasks you could automate, or, my personal favorite, the meeting that absolutely should have been an email. Real power, on the other hand, is building systems, like a standard operating procedure, that work for you. One path builds lasting value. The other just leads straight to burnout.
All right, so how do we fix this mess? How do engineers take all that wasted, sloshing around power and get it back in line to do something useful? Well, they install a pretty simple but incredibly powerful tool.
See, a capacitor doesn't create any new energy. That's not its job. It just corrects the timing. It literally stores that wasted energy and then injects it back into the system at the perfect moment. This gets the voltage and current back in sync and bam, the waste stops and it all gets turned into real useful power.
And this is our tool. For us, something like a SACO, which is a type of savings and credit co-op, or even just a strategic loan, can be our capacitor. It's a pool of financial energy that we can tap into at the precise moment we need it. It lets us bridge that gap between a huge opportunity and our current reality. But just like a real capacitor, you have to be careful with it. Leverage for the wrong reasons can be dangerous. So here's how it plays out. Step 1, you spot an opportunity. Maybe it's buying inventory for a side hustle or getting a certification for a high-value skill. Step 2, you access that leverage, your capacitor. Step 3, you use it to acquire that productive asset. And that one action, that's what brings your system back into alignment. You're not just busy dreaming anymore. You are actively correcting the phase shift between your potential and your actual results. But here's the thing. Once you start optimizing your system, once you get it running like a high-performance machine, it suddenly becomes vulnerable to a new problem: outside interference.
Imagine you've got a perfect, clean musical note playing. Harmonic distortion is like a bunch of other ugly notes playing on top of it, just muddying the whole sound. In an electrical system, it's the same idea. You've created this pure, powerful signal, but all this other noisy static is trying to creep in and mess it all up. It degrades your power and puts stress on everything.
In our lives, this noise is everywhere. It's the bad advice from well-meaning friends, it's the shiny object of a get-rich-quick scheme, it's all those tempting side projects that pull you off course. Every single one of them is a harmonic distortion trying to corrupt your signal.
Engineers use these really sophisticated filters to protect their sensitive electronics. And you have to protect your focus with that same kind of discipline. So here's a simple, powerful filter you can use for every decision. Does this build my skill stack or does it build my asset base? If the answer is no, it's noise. Filter it out. Protect the signal.
So after all this work, after we've corrected the phase shift and filtered out the noise, what does a perfectly optimized system actually look like day to day?
Well, it's not about these massive, intense bursts of effort followed by a total crash. That's how you blow a fuse. It's just not sustainable. The goal is what engineers call steady-state operation. It's consistent, daily action that builds on itself. It might not look as dramatic from the outside, but trust me, it's unbreakable and it just gets stronger and stronger over time.
And that's really the core principle right there. Success operates on a specific frequency. It doesn't matter if it's your monthly investment, your weekly workout, or your daily reading habit. That consistent rhythm is what makes the whole system powerful. Eventually, the work becomes resonant. It almost feels effortless.
So let's bring this all home. After we've made all these changes, what's the final transformed state of our financial system? What have we built? This is the result. We've synced the timing of our efforts and our assets. We've filtered out all that distracting noise. We have corrected the phase. Now, every single bit of energy you put in is doing useful, productive work.
This is the number. This is the goal. In engineering, a power factor of 1.0 is absolute perfection. So a reading of 0.99 is considered optimal. It means that almost 100% of the energy you put into your system is creating the result you want. There is basically zero waste.
And honestly, this is the most powerful part of the whole idea. When you eliminate that waste, when your actions are perfectly aligned, your biggest long-term goals, they stop being just hopeful dreams. They become engineering problems with clear solutions. Success becomes a predictable outcome, not some lucky break.
So as we finish up, I want you to take a hard, honest look at your own system. Of all the energy you spend every week, how much is actually creating forward motion and how much is just getting lost as heat? Ask yourself, what is my financial power factor? And what's the one thing I can do starting today to start getting it closer to 1?
If you believe wealth should be engineered, not guessed, like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next strategy.